Hi, so in this video I'm gonna share how I recovered from a failed Timeshift restore on my Debian system, which is set up with encrypted LVM and btrfs. So this is kind of a complicated topic and it's pretty hard to talk about it, but I'm gonna go ahead and do my best to share this information because I think it can help someone out if they I hope not, but if someone ends up in a situation like I ended up in a couple of weeks ago. Also, during recording of this video, I was actually able to replicate the exact same error that caused this problem for me in a VM. So I'm going to be sharing this information as well, and this looks like it might be a bug. I'm not sure with what, maybe with Debian itself or with Timeshift. But yeah, so I'm gonna show how that works as well. So basically, first, like just for some context and background, I set up this system about a year ago, and I made several videos about it on my channel. This is the playlist. I'll link all this stuff in the description. Uh, Basically, but like I already said, the main point is that the timeshift snapshot has failed. Has like the recovery. Um, Once I have recovered it or restored the timeshift snapshot, I rebooted the system and the system wouldn't boot. So I couldn't get into the. I couldn't log into the system, and therefore I couldn't restore another snapshot. Um, so I was kind of stuck in that state. And on top of that, the system is encrypted, and with a file system that not very many guides online cover. So that was kind of the situation that I was in. Um, Let me see. So where do I go from here? I guess yeah. So I have described what happened. I will insert a clip somewhere in this video over here that shows what my boot screen looked like. I recorded it with my phone. I still have it, so I will insert it here so that you have some idea of what happened. So here it is. And so that's what happened. Basically, I couldn't log into my system and I had no idea what to do. So I started looking up various guides online and stuff like that, and they all seem to suggest, like this one, for example, that you have to get a live CD or a live USB and boot into your system. Or like boot into the live USB and install Timeshift within the live USB, and then you can recover from there. But I was thinking like, well, okay, like, but this doesn't say anything about the LVM. This doesn't say anything about btrfs. Like, I felt like I was like in a very serious trouble there. So, and on top of that, I didn't have a live USB. So I didn't have the live USB, and but I did. What I did have is I had my the SD card that I used to install Debian, which had just the Debian installer, which doesn't have the live Debian on it. But what it does have is it has something called rescue mode, which allows you to run a root shell basically, and from that shell you can get access to your data on your disk. So that gave me some sort of like reassurance in that at least my data, I still have access to that. Like, yeah, I could some like recover from it. But like what I also managed to do is I managed to download the image like live the live ISO from the Debian website through that shell by just typing in the URL, and then create a new SD card with a live image, and then boot into into that and then restore it by pretty much using this method that is described in this guide. But what I'll also show in this video, in addition to what is described in this article, for example, and I think there are similar articles online to this one describing similar stuff, and I also saw some Reddit posts that people recommend doing this. What they don't kind of show you is how like to decrypt your like encrypted LVM, which kind of you don't really need to know much about. It turns out it happens all pretty much automatically, which was very like helpful in that situation. But I think it's kind of it's nice to know how it works in case you end up in a situation like this, so that you don't have to sort of like guess that it's hopefully it will work. So I'll show you how that works as well. So that's something that is not covered in these articles, and they also they're not don't mention btrfs at all, but there's no problem with it actually. So like once you get the live USB, you can recover and it works just fine. So I was just able to restore a snapshot, and then I was able to log back in. So okay, so that's the introduction. Now let me see, what are we gonna do next? We're gonna take a look at that rescue mode first. So I still have my VM that I was working with here in these videos about a year ago at this point. So I'll use that as a demonstration, because it's pretty much a replica of my actual laptop in terms of kind of structure. Yeah, so I have inserted the same ISO image that I used to install it, I think, or maybe it's not the same, but it's a Debian installer, so that will allow us to test out that rescue mode. So let's go ahead and start this VM and take a look at the rescue mode. So to get to the rescue mode, you need to go to advanced options, and then you have two possibilities. You can go to graphical rescue mode or just rescue mode. So I'm gonna use the graphical one because the shell in this one is a bit more readable and easier to use. So there's gonna be these initial prompts. We'll just accept the defaults for everything here. There's nothing important here for us. We just need to get to the point where we get to mount our storage devices and execute a shell to be able to get access to our data, and also to just basic command line tools, which will allow us to create a live medium, download and create it. So let's see, host name, we just accept the default for everything here. Okay, so at this point it's asking me for the passphrase for the encrypted volume. So so yeah, you just enter your password that you create. Like if you have the setup like mine, it's gonna be the your encryption password for your encrypted LVM. There was two of them because I have two hard drives, and I also created it in the same way in this VM. So that's the reason there was two of them, and I merged them together into a single LVM volume, so that I have a single large space as opposed to just two separate SSDs. So that's the reason for that. So over here we can now select this dev vg main lv root, which is our LVM volume. So we have several options here, and if we try the first one, it's not going to work, and I think the reason is because we have btrfs on that volume. So if we go here, it's gonna tell us that after this message you'll be given a shell with dev vgmain lv root mounted on root. And basically we'll see later that what we have on the root there is not just the normal kind of Linux file structure, like not the normal Linux root directory, but there's going to be btrfs subvolumes there. And that's not what this expects. That's my sort of like understanding of it. I think that's the reason this doesn't work. So the point is, in any case, we click continue, it's going to tell us that there's no usable shell found on your root file system. So we can't use this, but we can still use this second option, execute a shell in the installer environment. So we're going to do this. And it says something similar here compared to the first option, but this time it's going to mount dev vgmain lv root on root target, and it says you may work on it using the tools available in the installer environment. So and that's good. So let's go ahead and click continue, and we have a shell here. So if we type ls, we have all of this stuff, and over there we also have the target directory. I'm just like wondering if I can zoom this stuff in. Scaled mode. Yeah, this will work. It's not exactly the right proportions, but at least it's a bit easier to see. So yeah, if we go to or like lists the contents of the target directory, we have our btrfs subvolumes here. And so when I got to this point, I was sort of partially relieved, because at least my data is still there and I can get access to it. So if I can show it to you, so like if I go to ls target, I can just go to add home. Apparently btrfs subvolumes are just normal directories. I'm not really sure how btrfs works exactly, but that's what it is. So if I just list the contents of that subvolume, it's my home folder is there, my user folder, and if I go there, there's my home directory. So I still have all of my data there. So if I wanted to, I could mount, I could insert like an external hard drive, for example, and I could copy all of this data from this computer over to an external disk, and it would be still there. So at that point I was kind of like thinking, okay, so at least my data is safe. It looks like I have access to it. So even if I can't like recover the system, at least like I have all of my data. It's going to be a huge pain to reinstall everything, but at least the data is still there. So that's good. But so that's the first thing that I wanted to show you here, so that you can get access to your data by using this method. One other thing that you can do is you can also mount this btrfs subvolume, and I don't really know, like I didn't personally have any use for this in that scenario, but I thought I would mention it just in case. So this is my video called setting up Debian number 10. It's in that playlist that I mentioned in the beginning of this video, and I just have this video open here in my locally in MPV. So if you go to this timestamp, 54 minutes 13 seconds, I showed you how like I was mounting these subvolumes there during the installation. So you can do the same here. You can just use this command mount -o rw no a time space _cache equals v2, etc. And you can just create a new directories somewhere, like for example mkdir, just like mnt, so we're in root, so root mnt, just call it anything like home or something, and then create it, and then use this mount command, and then use this newly created directory as this last argument. And you can mount the subvolume as well. So I thought I would just mention it. I don't really know what, I didn't have any use for it personally, but it might be good to know. So there's this. I do want to also mention that you should be really careful here, because you are in fact root here. Who am I not founded? So like I thought it would say that I'm root, but it doesn't. It's just like it doesn't have all of the tools here. But the point is that you are root here, and like you can delete anything. So if you go to your like system, this is my like system subvolume. If I went there and I just deleted something, it will just get deleted. There's like so you have to be very careful with what you do over here. So yeah, that's important to know. But now let's take a look at how you can also use this environment to download an ISO and then create a bootable medium. So this is actually very simple. You can just go to this website and copy. So not copy, but you'll have to get this this address. So just kind of put it somewhere and then type it in over here. So you have wget available here, so you can do wget https etc. So and then just type this URL and download the file. And then once you have downloaded it, there are these instructions here that explain how you can create a bootable medium. So these are exact same instructions you would use for creating like a live USB from your like normal system. It's just that you have to type in everything in manually. But yeah, otherwise it's identical. With this dd command, so this is what I used to create my live USB. You can apparently also use cp. I never used this, but they say that you can. I use dd. One thing that's important to know, that where it says device here, you have to in fact be careful that you put in the device there and not the partition. So it should be /dev/SDA, for example, and not SDA1, SDA2, etc., because those are partitions. So you need to pass the device to this OF, I don't know what it is, option or whatever. Like this OF argument has to say OF equals dev SDA. And then you pass the file that you've downloaded here to this IF argument. So it would be something like, so once you did this, you would do like dd if equals, there's going to be your ISO that you've downloaded. Obviously the file name is different, but just use the name of the file you downloaded there. And for OF you'll have something like dev SDA, for example, or whatever it is. So you insert your USB drive or your SD card, you find it in dev, so like ls root dev. So right now, what does it have right now? It has like SDA, SDB. Those are my two virtual hard drives. So if I inserted an additional medium here, you would have as SDB or SDC. So you can just list dev first and see what it has there without the USB inserted, and then check it again, and that way you'll be able to tell what is what. So that's how you do that. that's how you can create the live medium from this installer environment, and that's how I did it. It worked just fine. So let me see, is there anything else I want to say about this rescue mode? I don't believe so. I think this is it. So I explained how you can get access to your btrfs subvolumes from this shell, and also how you can use it to create a live USB if that's something that you need, in case like you're in a situation like I was, where you still have your installer but not the live USB. I mean, the real like the good way to be prepared for something like this is just like to have that live USB available. Just have it handy in case you need it. So yeah, that seems like a good idea. Okay, so this is it for this part. Now let's go ahead and let me just shut down this VM. So in this part of the video, I'm going to demonstrate the error itself, and I was able to reproduce it pretty much accidentally while I was recording this video. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I found out. Basically, I'm going to restore this very old snapshot from 2023, from where I when I was first testing Debian before installing it on my actual laptop. So that snapshot is restored, so the state of that VM is exactly as it was on August 27th, 2023. So let's start it up. Okay, so it has booted up, and I'll have to quit out of Awesome Window Manager here because it doesn't have terminal installed. So I'll just use the console for everything. So I'll do that, and here we go. So let's take a look at what Timeshift has here at this point. So it has a few snapshots, and you can also see that snapshot number 2 is called before restoring such and such. So I was actually testing Timeshift there, and I think I even have a recording of me testing it, and probably in one of these videos. I'm pretty sure that this video setting up Debian number 2, since I talk about Timeshift there, it's probably in there that I test the restore. So this is relevant. You will see in a moment why. Because basically what I found out here is that like this bug probably seems to occur with snapshots, with Timeshift snapshots that are old. And I know this might sound pretty vague, but that's like really how it is. So basically what happens here, if I restore any of these old snapshots from 2023, they will fail to boot, and I will demonstrate in a moment. But if I also create a new snapshot, which I will do right now, let's just create a new snapshot. Call it, or no, not snapshot. It should be comment test. Okay, so now we have 4 snapshots. So and this new snapshot from 2025 that I just created will restore just fine. And so this is very weird because this is the exact same machine in the exact same state as it was in 2023. I didn't run any update on it or anything, so Timeshift should work just fine. But apparently, with old snapshots, it just fails with if you restore them. And I had the exact same issue that occurred for me, that caused my problem when I wasn't able to boot my laptop. It was because I restored an old snapshot from June 2024, and it was just like I think like the end of January 2025 when this whole thing happened. So so yeah, that's like what I found out, and it's very strange. I sort of like thought it might have something to do with with Timeshift version or anything, but it doesn't really seem to have anything to do with it because this is Debian as I installed it in 2023. So the Timeshift version has already moved on a couple of times during the year 2024, and like the issue is still there. So like I don't know. Let me just show you what happens. So let's first, yeah, actually, I'm gonna fail the system and I'm gonna demonstrate, and I'm gonna use the live's USB or like the live, yeah, the live ISO to restore the snapshot that will actually boot from 2025. So this is gonna be like, I'm gonna do like both things at once. So I'm not gonna have to like redo like do two separate parts of the video, which is good. So let's first fail this whole thing, so you'll actually see what happened for me exactly, and how that happened. So let's restore this snapshot number one. Unfortunately, my mouse cursor doesn't seem to show up over the screen, so I'm restoring snapshot that says 1. So let's see that I should I'm gonna restore snapshot. So now I need to type that name 2023 -08 -05 underscore 16 -09 -51. To restore with default options, yeah, so enter Y here to restore. Okay, so it's restored. So now we'll reboot and we'll be in trouble. You'll see that it's the exact same error because I showed the clip in this video earlier. You can compare it. So yeah, first I'll have to like enter my password to decrypt this thing, but then the error will occur and it will fail to boot. Here we go, and so it says press enter to continue, but if I press enter it just repeats the same thing and you can't do anything from here. So this is bad. So we have to shut the whole thing down, just like I had to on my actual computer, and that was not a good experience, I can assure you. So power off. And now we will insert the live ISO, which I already have here, and we'll start that. The only thing that I need to do, and this is purely a VM thing, for some reason you need to uncheck this so for the live ISO or Debian installer or the live ISO, any of those, to just boot. I don't know what it is, but it's some kind of virtual box thing. It doesn't have anything to do with our issue here. So we'll just boot the live system now. And we'll recover by restoring the recent snapshot that I just took. So, and that will be just work just fine. Okay, so it's almost booted. Let me close that. So yeah, here's the live Debian running from the USB, and so the first thing that I need to do is to install Timeshift. So I will do that. Okay, so Timeshift has installed, and we can close the terminal now. So now we'll mount or decrypt and mount these disks that we have here. So I'll just double click and enter the password for one of them. It'll say failed to mount, but that's fine because once I decrypt the second one, the LVM volume will mount automatically. This is also one of the things that I want to show, that like you don't have to worry about it. The live this live system takes care of mounting LVM volumes automatically. So it says again failed to mount, but then this other disk popped up, and we have our btrfs stuff here. So it's the same thing that I showed before in the previous section of this video where I was talking about the rescue mode. You should recognize this picture here. So we have that. Now we can open Timeshift and restore the snapshot. So it'll take us through this setup wizard. So we need to select btrfs here, press next, and we can just press next here because none of these like if I just select one, it'll say selected device doesn't have btrfs partition, but if I just click next, it'll find all the snapshots anyway. So here's our stuff, and like I haven't actually tried this, so this is gonna be like in real time, but I'm pretty sure that like if once I restore the 2025 snapshot, everything will boot back like it did. So let's do that. Let's click restore. It will say that give us a warning that data will be modified, disclaimer, so we can click next here. Restore completed. btrfs restores are just like instantaneous, and yeah, so close. We have a new snapshot that is created like it always does when you restore another snapshot. So yeah, we can close this, and we can shut down. Actually, I'll just okay, I'll try to shut it down like properly, but I think it doesn't really do that very well. It just kind of hangs on that screen. Maybe it will shut down at some point, but I don't think I'm gonna wait for that. Yeah, let's just power off. This is gonna be okay. So now I'll go to the VM settings again to click that, tick this box. Again, doesn't have anything to do with like the issue that we're discussing. It's just purely VirtualBox thing. So now we can get back to our normal boot screen. Enter the password. And here we go. This is exactly what happened for me on my actual laptop. So I don't know what it is, but it's obviously some kind of bug. Maybe it has to do with btrfs, maybe it has to do with Timeshift, maybe it has to do with Debian. I have no idea. But this is what happened, and I was able to replicate it, and I feel kind of happy about it. But the experience was just insanely uncomfortable. Luckily, it worked out. But it's very strange that Timeshift just like can't handle old snapshots um, for some reason. It's just like super weird. Um, I don't know why that happens. Like, let's just like for the sake of the experiment, I might kind of speed through parts of this um, uh, through this part of the video so that it's like not unnecessarily drawn out. But uh, I just want to like uh, do another restore of an old snapshot, but now uh, from the live ISO, and you'll see it is the exact same result. So here we go. I'm back in Timeshift, and we'll restore. Let's see what was it that I wanted to restore. This 2023 snapshot. Just to show that this does the exact same thing that I did from the system the first time I induced this failure. So here we go. Here we have the same error again, and I can just like now I can just go back and uh, restore it once again. Um, okay, here we go. Let's restore our good snapshot, or like a recent snapshot. Um, and now we can shut down again. And the system is booting again. So like um, this is like 100%. Like this is how it works. So it doesn't matter where you restore the snapshot, in the live CD or in your actual system. It just kind of Timeshift behaves in the same way with these like two different kinds of snapshots, that like the only difference is the one of them is recent, and the other one is older. And so I was able to restore my system in the exact same way by just restoring the most recent snapshot. So yeah, this is basically what I wanted to share in this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it interesting, and that it helps you in one way or another. It's always good to know about these kind of scenarios, and about how things could go wrong. Sometimes even a part of such a tutorial can be helpful. Like for example, maybe some of the things that I that I talked about with regards to the rescue mode, like knowing how that works might come in handy at some point. So and things like that, and in general, kind of this weird issue. Like I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's also good to have that information out there so that people know that it exists. And I mean, I don't even know like where such a bug report should be submitted because it's not very clear where the bug comes from. But I hope that this video raises awareness of it and hopefully prevents some uh, data loss for people, or just like a very difficult so that someone doesn't have a very hard time um, uh, restoring their system to a working state. So yeah, this is it. um, I hope you found this video valuable, and if you'd like to support this channel, you can do it at ko-fi.com/linguisticmind. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.